Name: Jericho Ascaris. Year: Course B3B. Course code EDUC9. Instructor: Mrs. Venus Silumapak. Lesson 8.3: Curricular Modification in Basic Education Post-Pandemic. Why do you think the curriculum had to change after the pandemic?
The curriculum had to change after the pandemic because it exposed many gaps in our education system, like limited access to learning for marginalized students, rigid content, and teaching that didn't match real-life needs. The changes were necessary to make learning more relevant, flexible, and compassionate. I agree with these adjustments because they focus not just on academics but also on students' well-being, digital skills, and adaptability, which are so important today.
What learning style worked best for you during the pandemic online? Modular, blended? How will you use that in your future classroom?
Blended learning worked best for me. It gave a good balance between structured lessons and flexible time to study on my own. In my future classroom, I will try to apply this approach by mixing face-to-face teaching with independent or digital tasks. That way, students can learn at their own pace while still getting guidance and interaction. I would use printed modules and maybe combine them with radio or TV lessons if available. The focus would be on the most essential learning competencies or MELCs. So I'd make sure that the content is simple, clear, and manageable. I'd like also to keep in touch with parents or community leaders to support learning at home even without internet.
How can you take care of your students and APOs? Mental health and emotions as a future teacher. Give at least one specific way.
One way is to include socio-emotional learning activities in class, like weekly check-ins where students can express how they feel, reflect, or do mindful exercises. Creating a safe space where students feel heard and supported can make a huge difference, especially after everything they've gone through during the pandemic.
What are the good and bad sides of using digital tools like Zoom or Google Classroom? How can you make sure all your students can access them?
The good side is that digital tools help continue learning even outside the classroom. They're flexible and can be very engaging, but the downside is not everyone has stable internet or a gadget to use. To make sure all students can access them, I'd offer alternative options like printed materials or offline activities and work with schools or communities to share resources fairly.
Why is it important for teachers to understand laws like R10533 and the PETS BLCP? How do these support curriculum changes?
It's important because these laws guide how we teach and what we teach. The RA 10533 pushes for a curriculum that's relevant and responsive to 21st century needs, while the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan or BELCP was made to ensure education continued during the pandemic. Understanding them helps teachers align with national goals and adapt teaching to meet learners' needs effectively.
How will you teach both academic lessons and life skills like problem solving and communication at the same time in your class?
I'll use real-life scenarios and project-based learning where students solve problems or work in teams. For example, in a science class lesson, instead of just memorizing facts, I might ask students to create a simple project that solves a local issue. This way, they learn the subject and also practice teamwork, communication, and critical thinking.
Thanks for watching.